Coming up on Mountain News this morning, 3 people are behind bars in Knox County after police say a trio is connected to a string of thefts.
And we take you to Letcher County, where a violent break-in sent one man to the hospital with severe injuries.
Plus, it was a hectic day for Pike County officers yesterday after a deadly crash in an officer-involved shooting happened within just yards of each other.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:33 on January 29th. I'm Madison Pergram.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Wednesday.
On this Wednesday, we said it all day. It's hump day. We're getting there. We're getting inching or close to the weekend.
Ever so closer.
You came in this morning like, Madison, you can do it. It's Wednesday.
Yes, it's just Wednesday. You got it, Madison.
Let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon, on this Wednesday, it's a little chilly, but pretty much the weather's pretty good.
You didn't say it right today.
What did I say?
Hump day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is pretty chilly this morning in some areas, so grab your jacket as you head out the door. And cloud cover for the most part. Last 6 hours of the satellite radar loop, as we take a look at that, been trying to show a little bit of snowfall, but again, not reaching the ground this morning there, even with those darker shades of blue. Over Pulaski County, we have a ground report of no snow in Somerset. So there you go. Maybe a few flakes flying in some areas, but not enough to really cause any problems this morning. We take a look down toward I-75, and we continue to see again the possibilities for a little bit of action there with traffic, but otherwise not too much. Temperatures running in the 30s this morning, so we're going to talk about all that and the forecast for the future coming up here in just a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, a break-in Monday morning in the Cowan community of Letcher County left 60-year-old Scott Day unconscious. Day was sleeping on his couch when a loud noise woke him up. He started to stand up when he was attacked and knocked unconscious. He has several severe head injuries and was transferred to UK Medical Center. Police are left trying to figure out a timeline of the events and what was stolen.
I wondered how anybody could do anything like that, you know. Just come in on anybody that didn't bother anybody and just leave them for dead, you know, like it was nothing.
If you have any information that would help police find the people who broke in, contact Kentucky State Police Post 13 at 606-435-6069.
In Rowan County, one man was arrested for stealing mail. Deputies say Stephen Puckett was taking things out of other people's mailboxes, opening letters, then wadding them up and throwing them on the ground. One victim said a letter that was stolen had a check for $365. Deputies say when they caught up with Puckett, he also had several IDs and gift cards that didn't belong to him. He's facing several charges, including theft of mail matter, wanton endangerment, and drug charges.
And a Laurel County man convicted on federal charges was sentenced yesterday. 69-year-old Harold Arnold was sentenced to 31 months in prison for identity theft and defrauding Social Security. He admitted to escaping custody in Georgia back in the 1970s before stealing his deceased cousin's name. For 6 years, he received more than $83,000 in benefits under that stolen identity. A judge ordered Arnold to repay that money.
3 people are behind bars after a series of burglaries that police believe stretched over several weeks. Taza Bowling, Letcher Asher, and Jeffrey Gray were all charged with organized crime after investigations into a home that had several items stolen while the owners were on vacation. Police say vigilant neighbors saw the thieves coming in and out of the home and even saw stolen furniture fall into the road after they sped off from the driveway.
We're talking living room furniture, bathtub, 3 vehicles. I mean, the house was pretty much cleaned out. Due to the number of individuals involved, it would fall into the organized crime.
There are at least 2 more arrests expected.
And in Knox County, charges were dismissed against 2 women in a robbery case. Court officials tell us lack of evidence led to prosecutors to dismiss Courtney Simpson and Jennifer Gray's case without prejudice. That means if more evidence surfaces, they can reopen the case. Simpson and Gray were initially charged with complicity in a robbery at A&B Quick Stop. 4 people total were arrested. Only Alex Toothman still faces charges. Police say he is the man who actually robbed the store, and his case is in the hands of a grand jury. Charges were also dropped against his father, Russell.
One Knox County woman is facing charges after driving under the influence with 3 children in her car. Police say on Monday, Nicole Sanders was driving along Green Road on Highway 11 when she ran into a tree and down an embankment. Sanders, along with their 10, 7, and 3-year-old children, were flown to University of Kentucky Hospital with critical injuries.
Unfortunately, we see several of them, but to the fact that their mother was impaired and driving these 3 small children, is tragic.
Sanders is facing charges of wanton endangerment and driving under the influence.
And the Kentucky Humane Society is now caring for a dog that was dragged behind a vehicle in Breckinridge County. Dean came to the Humane Society from a shelter in Hardinsburg. According to witnesses, someone tied a rope around the beagle's neck and then drug him behind a pickup truck. Dean has pretty severe injuries and spent 2 weeks recovering in Breckinridge County before arriving in Louisville. Dean's now healing in a foster home, and there is no word on if police arrested the person driving the vehicle.
Yesterday, one Pike County community saw 2 fatal accidents within hours of each other, causing Kentucky State Police to close a section of Kentucky 805 in Dorton for most of the day.
WYMT's Buddy Forbes talked with Kentucky State Police about the unrelated incidents that happened less than 100 yards apart.
It started with an early morning crash in the Dorton community.
It appears that the one vehicle did cross over into the center line into the path of the other oncoming vehicle.
A crash that killed one driver and sent another to the hospital, closing part of the road on Kentucky 805 as troopers with the Kentucky State Police investigated.
It takes several hours to do the reconstruction to try to get all the evidence and all the marks on the highway marked.
While all of that was going on, over in Elkhorn City, another driver took off from police, leading them on a 16-mile chase straight toward the reconstruction site.
It was approaching all the first responders at the scene, firemen, police, ambulance, everybody was there at the scene were in danger.
So officers reacted, firing shots at the vehicle to stop it from hitting rescue crews.
The vehicle stopped, started to back up, and some more shots were fired. And after that, it was determined that the driver, who was the only occupant of the vehicle, was deceased.
Troopers say though they never want the outcome they received,
a vehicle is basically a deadly weapon if it's used that way, and if it had got to the scene of the fatal, more than one person would have been in danger.
It could have easily been even worse. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The road has since been reopened, but troopers urge caution while traveling in the area, saying they will be continuing their investigations during the next few days. And yesterday marked day 2 of a retrial for Barry Hall in Floyd County. Officials say he killed 2 people in 2008. A few years ago, the Kentucky Supreme Court overturned Barry Hall's conviction due to the graphic pictures used during the trial. Multiple pieces of evidence were shown yesterday. 2 911 call recordings, crime scene photos and videos, bullet casings, and the gun officials believe Barry used in the shooting.
I just can't handle it.
Okay. So when they were screaming and hollering, okay?
I can't handle it.
Okay. Okay, just relax for a
I
second.
can't handle it.
Okay. Okay.
I can't handle it.
Okay.
The sound you just heard is from an interview between a Kentucky State Police trooper and Barry the night of the shooting. Today, the defense is set to present their evidence. The retrial will continue at 9 a.m. in Floyd County.
Downtown Pikeville this morning from the Pikeville Medical Center camera, looking pretty nice, pretty quiet, not too much activity going on. We come back to WYMT here in Hazard, and the same scenario here as well this morning outside the studios. Temperatures chilly, anywhere between 30 and 37 there between Wise and Middlesboro. Lots of folks right there, right around freezing. So this morning you might need a couple of extra minutes to scrape off the windshield. Not a whole lot of time, just a little light layer of frost possible this morning. Your out the door forecast, we are going to continue to see temperatures that are still on the cooler side thanks to gloomy days ahead, and we'll continue to see that trend all the way toward the end of the week. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning.
Coming up, we'll have a pet in our studio looking for a good home.